Going?
Huh? Good.
Okay. Konnichiwa, and thank you for coming to 50 years of Doctor Who for fun. My name is Robert Clyde Allen. I am currently the president of the NC Rowan County Anime Group. But before I became president of the NC Rowan County Anime Group, back in the 1980s, I ran a Doctor Who club called the Lost Colony TARDIS. I'm going to start with a quote, and then I'm going to introduce my friend over here. And this is from episode 1 of The Unearthly Child. Have you ever thought what it was like to be wonders in the fourth dimension? To be exiled? Susan and I are cut off from our home planet without friends or protection. But one day we shall go back. Yes, one day, one day. And that was from episode 1 of The Unearthly Child. Now, I'm introducing my friend over here, and you take the show.
Well, my name's JR, and Robert knows more about the old series of Doctor Who. I know more about the new series that y'all are probably more familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Like I said before we started this panel, I have met several Doctor Who actors. I have met Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee. I've also met Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. Companions, Louise Jameson, who played Leela, the Savage from Doctor Who. Nicholas Courtney, who played Brigadier Electric Steward. Also, too, John Levine, who played Sergeant Benton. And also, too, I have met Terry Nation, who was the creator of the Daleks, and also, too, a wonderful series called Blake 7, and also, too, The Survivors. Like I said, I've been a Doctor Who fan for many years. I also know a lot about British science fiction. I did panels at Magnus Opus Con many years ago. I was sadly at the last convention Patrick Troughton was alive. I saw Patrick on that Friday. He went to his room Friday night and died in bed asleep of a heart attack. Nothing could be done for him. And it was a very sad event. I hope I never go through that ever again. It was very rough. When I did talk to Pat talked about his friendship with Fraser Hines and how he respected Fraser. He said he could never go back to Doctor Who without Fraser Hines. Remember, Fraser did work with Pat one last time in The Two Doctors with Colin Baker and Nicola O'Brien. I can also tell you a little fun story. John Pertwee told this to us one time. John, over in England, they had this nice little idea. You've seen racing dogs and stuff, around the track, haven't you? So somebody comes up with a great idea. Let's race cheetahs. So they go and they put the cheetahs out there on the track. They let the rabbit go. The cheetahs catch the rabbit before he even gets halfway down the track. So they go like, okay, we'll put the rabbit a little bit further up the track. Cheetahs aren't dumb. They go and they cross over the rail, go and they catch the rabbit again. And then the third time they did it, they just waited until the rabbit came around and then caught the rabbit anyway. Mm-hmm. So they had all these cheetahs, and they go like cheetah racing ain't going to catch on. There's no way you can. This is going to work. So John goes and buys himself a cheetah, and he's very nice. He lets his cheetah go and chase swallows, which are pigeons in the park. One day, this pigeon goes over this fence. Cheetah jumps and goes after it, right in the middle of the family picnic. Now, here's Grandma, eating and everybody and kids, and there's a cheetah just jumping right in the middle of your picnic. And that's causing quite a bit of ruckus. So the constable comes, which is their policeman, and John goes and he says, well, he's just a pet. He won't hurt anybody. The policeman got too close to the cheetah, and the cheetah swapped him. The next thing you know, poor old John's calling his solicitor. And so the cheetah had to go back, Kenro, wherever it needed to leave. And that was just one little story that John told me. Do you want to say anything?
Well, just to add, for any of you animal lovers, fortunately they don't use real rabbits in these things. It's a fake rabbit, so no rabbits were harmed in the cheetah races.
Yeah, but still.
Even though there was only 3 of them.
Yeah, but unfortunately cheetah races didn't catch on. Colin told me a nice little story one time in The Twin Dilemma. He was supposed to duck behind Nicola O'Brien, who played Clary for Brigadier Brown. he accidentally, I don't know how you can accidentally bite somebody on the posterior while you're biking down. But he did, and he goes over to his one of his guest stars, who's supposed to be Lieutenant Lang. He says, "Hey, I bet you a fiver you wouldn't do that." So the guy goes and he bites her on the bottom again. And next thing she's very upset because she's been bitten twice on the bottom. And John Nathan Turner goes and shows up, and she's really upset with that during the twin dilemma. Another favorite little story of mine that I like to talk about, has anybody ever seen The Power of Kroll from Tom Baker? Okay, if you have, there's this nice little race called the Swampies, which they were painted all green. Now imagine yourself an actor, you're painted all green all day, you're going home, and you're taking a bath, and this makeup is supposed to come off. It doesn't. You're still green. So they come back the next morning and say, hey, this makeup, we can't get it off. So they go and they rent an army base, get permission, and here they are going to this army base, scrubbing themselves down with this gel to try to get this makeup off.
And I've been through one of those. Down when I was in the hurricane, down when I was in Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. Sorry. I had to go through one of those because I was helping to rebuild the houses, and we tore this one down, and people started getting sick, so we all had to go through the wash. It's not fun. I mean, you get water blasted at you from every direction possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, Doctor Who does have its very fun little things. There was one episode called Leisure Hive that took place on Brighton Beach, and with Tom Baker, and they had modified the K9 unit. And they said, okay, we're getting rid of these wheels, we're putting them on tire tracks, like a tank. They figured this thing's going to go perfectly over the sands and the shells of this beach. Guess what? Didn't do it. So they ended up pulling it along with fishing wire just to make it move.
And what's kind of funny is because years later, whenever they were shooting the original Star Wars movies, they had the exact same problems with R2-D2. The scenes on Tatooine, what they had to do was they had to lay down these boards of wood, and they had to take a little bit of filament wire and drag them across. And they also in the new series of Doctor Who, there was the behind the scenes bloopers. If you can ever find them, they're great to watch. Especially the ones with the actors who played Martha Jones and Captain Jack. In those episodes, Captain Jack and the Doctor gave the actress that played Martha Jones hell. There's really no other way to put it.
Well, that's not as funny as one time Patrick Troughton and Fraser Hines were very big pickers. During the Two Doctors, they had like this great big trunk. Nicola Bryant's supposed to be laying across this table. They dropped the trunk and and then one time Pat goes and during a panel pulls out the scarf with Victoria Waterfield's supposed to be the character, and he's bopping her head, and she's going like, "That's not mine." And so those two were quite pickers, I hear. Pertwee and Patrick, they had their own ideas about acting. They were good friends, but they had the bad problem of once in a while, because they're such excellent actors, that people actually believed that they were fighting among each other when they would do their scenes and stuff. And during one show, this guy goes like, "Oh, I don't want to ever see these two guys ever again." They're awful, and it was just a performance. I remember during one Doctor Who celebration, they used to give Patrick and John these big water pistols. I mean, humongous water pistols. And they pulled some little act like, Pertwee tried to squirt Pat, and he goes and pulls out an umbrella and catches it. I mean, they were just hands all over. During Patrick Troughton's last panel, to give you an idea how much of a picker he was, we had an audience. up front. Pat's in the back. And Pat's going like, okay, I'm going to get the ball rolling here. He starts clapping. And the next thing you know, somebody down the row starts clapping. And then everybody else is starting to clap, 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 and he runs out in front. And that's the way Patrick Troughton was. He was a very picky person. I'm going to at least open up some questions, so if you have any questions if you'd like to ask, please feel free. One thing we do like to encourage is group participation. So you're a group, so if you have any questions you'd like to ask about Dr. Who, please feel free. Okay.
What was your experience with Sylvester McCoy? Because I got to meet him a few years ago, and he's just a really nice guy, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is. Sylvester, I'll tell you a nice little story about him. This was at Magnus Opus Con. He goes up into this elevator, and there's this little baby boy, about maybe 3 years old, dressed up in a Superman outfit. And he goes like, okay, we got to get up to the next floor. And he goes and he says, oh, up and away. We go up. And then he goes and he gets off. The little baby boy goes and looks at his father, and he says, Daddy, why is that man so silly? Sylvester is a spontaneous actor. I mean, he will, if he's by himself, he's very quiet, but if you get him in front of a crowd, Sylvester will come up with some wild stuff like you wouldn't believe.